Good morning, folks. How are we doing? This is the Ripping Pages, where we're having a coffee with the world's most interesting writers. Well, that's what we're usually doing. Today, you're just having a coffee with me because it's time for another edition of Ask the Host. That's right. I've got some questions in from you that you want me to answer, and the first one went really well, and I really would like to do it again. So yeah, it's a little bit different to what you usually expect on the Ripping Pages. A little bit less planned, kind of going with it, seeing how we feel. But I am here to answer some of your questions, and it's a Sunday morning, and I like to go through the emails, have a nice cup of coffee, of course, and pick out some of the questions that have piqued my interest. So I've got them here, and yeah, there's nothing else to do but just get into it. Before we do, however, as ever with every episode of the Ripping Pages, please do like, share, follow, subscribe. I'll tell your friends about the show. I really genuinely do appreciate it. All these little things just help increasing the reach, and which means you're increasing the reach of these fantastic books. And as you know, I do like to showcase books that some people might not have heard of, or that might not have made it onto the wavelengths of every mainstream podcast or radio book show. So you are really helping out some of these writers and some of the literary culture for sure. So I don't think there's anything else to do, but let's get into it. The first one is, so I get asked this a lot, and I do get asked this one quite a lot. And I realised that I was asked this one last time, but I quite liked that segment where I spoke about some books of books that have been published this year, which I've just not had the chance to either write about or have on the podcast, arrange an interview with. So I thought I'd pick out some books that I've enjoyed, again, that have either been published recently or going to be published. And the first book that I'd like to mention is called On the Clock, and it's by the French writer Claire Baglin, translated by Jordan Stump for Daunt Books. It's the book that sort of might be labelled as, looking at social inequalities, but it's written in a very dry, acerbic kind of tone, and it's about a young family as they move through life, and where a woman is working in a burger chain. And I just love the way that Baglin tries to create a narrative out of essentially repetitiveness, meaningless work, or is there meaning in this work, and that sense of being on the clock. I mean, I've had these jobs, I've worked in customer service jobs, and where you are literally clocking in to start getting paid, and as soon as you get clocked out, you're not getting paid anymore. And those times, when you're fighting for hours with other people, it can be really precarious. So there's something in this, but it is that dry, acerbic tone that gives it this sort of humour at times, this really bleak humour. And I think that's why I really enjoyed it. It reminded me a little bit of the Dardenne brothers, the Belgian directors, and the film that they did with Marion Cotillard, 2 Days, 1 Night, and just that sense of the repetitive nature of life, when that sense of there are big things at stake in the lives of people having small towns when they need work, compassion, treating it in a humane and compassionate way. The next one is very different. Well, not very different, but slightly different. A different path we've gone down here for sure. It's failed summer vacation. That's the title by Heuijung. Heuijung is a Korean writer. So this one is translated by Paige, Aniyah, Morris, and it's a series of short stories from the short story publisher Scratchbooks, who've published some brilliant books in recent years, led by Tom Conahan. I had Claire Carroll on the podcast. Not only short stories, but sort of form-defined short stories, and this is just it was such a refreshing read, and I found myself opening it up and just absolutely flying through it. It has this very sort of otherworldly kind of feel to it. It's full of wonderful sentences like this that just completely pull the rug from under your feet. From the title story, Failed Summer Vacation, for instance, this starts with, I'd long been obsessed with the idea that I was pretending to be something other than myself until the day I came to the realization I'd never entirely been me to begin with. I mean, that is just fantastic. Go straight into this story. And the next paragraph starts, Some stories are best when you haven't read them. Some movies most fascinating when all you've seen are their posters. The most terrifying curses, the ones that hang over you forever, which is why I choose to wander through the days with books I'll never read and movies I'll never watch. And it cuts itself off, and the next sentence is on the next paragraph. I like to swallow glass shards. The whole experience feels like you are been sharpened up by something, and it just brought me to life. So fantastic. Give that one a look. That's Failed Summer Vacation by Heuijung, translated by Paige and Aniyah Morris. The next one is another one from the Fitzcaralldo poetry list. And this one is by Sasha Debevec-McKenney. Joy is my middle name. It's just got the way that it textures modern culture references, American presidents. I felt like I was walking through New York and I could hear these conversations happening. And she's so playful, but also quite political, and really talks about sexuality as well. And there's one though that's featured on the Real Housewives. I don't know if you've ever, I don't know if this is the right podcast on this, but I don't know if you've ever watched Bravo's Real Housewives. My wife absolutely loves it, and they all have these catchphrases that introduce the episode, and they're all quite witty and sharp. And Sasha plays on these and turns them into a poem. So you've got to give that one a listen. I don't think I don't think Byron was putting Real Housewives into his poems, was he? But give that one an incredibly artful again. So that's what I've been reading over the summer, plus lots of other things as well. I really enjoyed Lanre Bakare's We Were Here, the exploration of black culture in Britain. I also enjoyed A Flat Place, Noreen Masud. Finally caught up with that as well. So thanks for that. My next question is from a chap. It's from James, and James is down in Oxfordshire. And James has asked me, how is the French going? So I wonder, James, if we've met before. And I've told you that I'm trying to learn French. It's going all right. It's going okay, thank you. I've been trying to learn French. And I've been trying to read some of my favourite French writers, the auto-fiction that I love in the original French as a way of learning. But it's going okay, thank you. I think the question I got last time was from my sister Faye, who asked if I could speak all languages or if I could speak to animals, and I would love to be able to speak lots of different languages. And thank you, thank you, James. The next one is another practical podcast question, and it's from an Elaine in Canada. And Elaine wants to know how I interview people. Do I do any of them live? Do I have a recording studio? And how do you get prepared for them? It sounds like you do quite a bit of research. So thanks, Elaine. I'm glad that comes through, and that is true. I do some research. Read as much as I can, as much as time allows. And we've all got other commitments. I've got writing commissions. I've got a job in academia, and I've got to balance all this around. But it's the joy of the podcast. It's the joy of doing this that you get a chance to really go into a writer's history, and obviously be able to ask, be able to ask them about that. What greater privilege is there than that? But it's more often than not, as you know, sometimes I am interviewing international writers, so that means we're often doing this remotely. So that's it, really. There's no kind of behind the curtain stuff that goes on. Obviously, I've got technology that allows me to do that. But anyone within reason, I guess, can set up a podcast. But that's it. That's the kind of technicalities of all that. Okay, thank you for that. We'll do a couple more, I think. This one's come from Eden. Eden, I think this might be Eden at Next Chapter Books up here in Leeds. And Eden's asked me, what is my favourite bookshop? So I think this might be quite a loaded question from Eden. Eden is the host of Next Chapter Books. You can listen to a conversation that I have with her back around the time of Leeds Literature Festival. We're actually doing an event together down in the Corn Exchange where hosting, and I'm going to be speaking to Agnes Lidbeck, the Swedish writer who's coming up to Leeds, is on her book tour. Really excited for that one, so tickets for that are in my show notes. But in Leeds, we've got a thriving indie book scene. We've got the bookish type, the queer indie bookshop up on Great George Street. We've got the Holdfast, which is a bookshop on a barge. So really, neat little diverse array of bookshops and indie bookshops in Leeds. And of course, the Hyde Park Book Club, which is a bar / event space / Bookshop. So yeah, it's cool. It's a cool spot, is Leeds, for bookshops at the moment. A bit further afield, I have to say the Minster Bookshop in York. I absolutely love this one. York is fantastic for bookshops. There's some brilliant charity shops, second-hand charity shops, but there's also a lovely array of little independent bookshops. There's the Little Apple Bookshop, which also does some really cool events. But Minster Bookshop, which is just near York Minster, and it's up a little alley, and it looks like a townhouse. And then you go inside, and it's about 5 floors. The floors, you're walking up the stairs, and you have to let people come down the stairs before you can go up. And the floors are creaking, and it's fantastic. The top floor's got like this really cool literary criticism corner, and then downstairs in the basement there's loads of fiction, and there's all sorts of wonderful hardbacks of history. Really good store for a browse. And yeah, always come away with one of their tote bags full of books. So I like that one. Probably have to say the Old Pier Bookshop in Morecambe, slightly same vibe. Floor to high ceilings of books, or piles of books everywhere. Just an absolute trove. You can spend hours in there just trying to find some real hidden gems. And that's the one in Morecambe, and it's on the seafront. And I think the episode with Nicholas Royle and I, where he talks about his book White Spines and his search for the White Spine Picador books, we speak about the Old Pier Bookshop there, and it's a certain again, it's that kind of, if you like that kind of, you love the smell of old books, it's one. If you want to go do a bit of discovering, it's similar to the Minster in that way. So yeah, there's some bookshops for you. And yeah, we're going to be in conversation in the bookshop. It's going to be a live recording of the podcast. I absolutely love doing stuff like that. So do come down. It's free, okay? Eden's putting this on for free. But it's going to be in the bookshop. It's a really small, intimate space, and a really good chance to get to know Agnes and this book that's just been published by the wonderful indie press, Perrine Press, who've published some great books in translation over the years. Translated by Nicholas Smalley, a brilliant translator of Swedish. So yeah, check it out. There's a link in my show notes to that event. Hope to see you there. Question. The next one is from a Ty. Ty is in London. I hope I pronounced that right, Ty. I've got to answer this one. What is your favourite season? So it's the time of the year where the seasons are turning. And I think, forgive me for being a little bit poetic, but I love summer. I can sit outdoors, iced coffees and reading a book on a even in the garden or outside in a coffee shop. There are not many greater pleasures, I don't think. The seasons turn, and then you put in big jumpers on. And, I put an Instagram post about this. This is how much I love it. The smell of cinnamon spiced coffees and all that kind of business. And curling up indoors with a book. It is a cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason. I do love autumn though. I love being outside. I love being out and about, doing stuff when it's summer. But I autumn for me. Trees changing colour. There's loads of books that come out in autumn. October is a massive month for publishing. There's loads of book festivals. There's a lot that goes on in the north. Ilkley Literature Festival, Manchester. It's all happening in October, and I don't know if this might just be me, but I don't know if you get that. You can start to smell it in the air. Okay, autumn. And the thing to say as well, I work on a campus as well, and I'm really lucky because it's a city campus, but there's trees everywhere, and the trees turn orange and the leaves turn in, and I don't know if this is just me, and do let me know if it isn't, because I'd like to know, but you can sort of smell autumn coming. If there's anyone out there that thinks I'm talking absolute rubbish, then phone into the show. Well, email. I don't have a phone line, but you can sort of smell autumn coming, and I suddenly get this image of books. When I smell that smell, I get this image of books, and I start to go, okay, autumn is coming, autumn is here. So that is well, that's answered your question, Ty. And let's have a look. One more question, should we? Okay, this one is from a Charlotte. Charlotte in Birmingham. Charlotte has asked, who is going to win the Premier League this year? I'm not going to get into that business. I'll tell you now. I am probably not going to get into that. Got some debates about that. But are we talking about the men's Premier League? Are we talking about the women's Super League? My wife and I, we do like to go to the Man City women games every now and again. So let's not cause any argument, shall we? Okay, folks, it's been a pleasure once again. Thanks very much for joining me on Ask the Host. As ever, please do like, share, review, follow, subscribe, whatever it is, put a telegram and tell someone to listen to the Rippling Pages. As ever, don't forget there is the Rippling Pages Bookshop, where I put all the books that I speak about and the interviews with the writers. I put them all on the Rippling Pages Bookshop. Follow the link in the show notes to find that, and if you buy there, I get a commission of any book you purchase. So it's great because all the writers that I've had on the show are collated in that one space for you. So if you like the episode, you can go on there and you can go, oh, okay, fantastic, there's the book. Don't just go find it, don't just go find it anywhere else. And all the books are sourced from independent bookshops, which is great, which means we're supporting independent bookshop culture. And finally, there's another link in the show notes, and this is my Patreon. So I've started to do subscribers to the podcast, and you can get a nice little curated series of awards if you subscribe to my Patreon. And just to say, Charlotte's question came through the Instagram poll that I put out. So I put out a little Instagram story, and you could basically type your question into the Instagram story. So another reason to come and follow me on Instagram as well. Sometimes I quote the questions through there. That's at Rippling_pages. Thanks very much, and I will be back soon with some of the world's most interesting writers for you to come and have a coffee with us. Take care. See you soon. Bye.